All right, so a quick update on the Volkswagen doors and front fender. We had a little bit of a learning lesson. I think we put the primer on too dry, and it kind of left like a textured vibe and in a lot of spots here. So we're gonna have to sand it down, smooth it out. Some stuff turned out pretty nice, other stuff feels pretty textured. So learned a little bit there. Maybe we'll have to thin out the primer a little bit. But I think we're kind of getting the hang of it. Did a little phone a friend to a buddy of mine that runs a body shop. So thanks, Dave, for giving some pointers on that. So we'll come back and touch on these. Back out in the paint booth again. So we kind of learned we need to bump up our air pressure a little bit, talking to my buddy. And I think we have to watch and make sure we're closer to the panel as we lay the primer down. But we had some pretty rough textures, especially in some spots. Some spots we got nice and smooth, other spots are pretty rough. So Owen and I have been out here sanding for about the last at least 2 hours now. Got this door kind of smoothed down, that door smoothed down. Owen's working on the fender. And then we'll work on shooting paint. And Shop Dog has gotten comfortable with walking underneath the plastic when I have it spaced up. One's doing pretty good, at least in my limited experience. All right, laying on color. Looks good. I think that looks pretty good. Pretty good for a first time doing a paint job and me trying to coach and not having done a paint job myself. And we did run out of paint right about in here, in this area. I think we're just gonna let it rip and put a second coat on, let this stuff flash. All right, laying on the clear. All right, we had a little bit of an issue with our paint gun where it looked like it was splattering water, and you can kind of see it like some droplets and stuff here. So I don't know what was going on, so we're gonna have to
got a bug on it right there.
Yeah, that's
but other than that, it all looks nice and shiny.
Yeah,
and pretty.
And this is just one. So we did primer on these doors. I unfortunately thought, well, man, I should use a tack cloth on here, and bunged up the primer on this fender, so we didn't get any paint shot on there. But we got 2 coats of white on both these doors.
Right.
Yeah. And we laid down 1 coat of clear coat. And it looks pretty good just with one coat, so maybe it'll really pop with a second coat. But then Owen noticed he was starting to paint this door, and I don't know if, were you up here like painting, Owen?
Yeah, I started down here, did like the sides, top edges, and got over here, started hitting the top, and I was about to move down, and I saw water speckles around here, then looked and saw they were down the pillar, and
yeah,
I think there might have been a couple down here too, but I don't see any.
Yeah, it doesn't look as bad down here. There's just a couple of spots right here that you can see.
This section.
Yeah, and then I noticed some here too.
I'm not worried about that area. I didn't.
That'll be under a door
I'm not
panel.
clearing this. Like over here, I didn't even clear this section.
Okay. Just got it white.
When I was taking these doors apart, the blue in this section, it looked like it was kind of grayish primer color.
Yeah.
And it wasn't cleared or anything, so
Yeah.
it's really similar to how VW did it.
Yeah. So, but with one coat of clear, with our cheap, I think I got the $25 Harbor Freight gun. So the step up from the bottom one, just because it felt like it had a little smoother trigger feel and stuff. But these doors are, I think they're looking pretty good. Other than our issue here, so I don't know if I was getting moisture in the line or what was going on here.
You're talking about like right on here looking a lumpy with the white paint, and it looks pretty smooth now with the clear over the top.
Yeah, it does. You can kind of see it when you get at it from this angle, but you're never going to see it at that angle when it's on the car.
Yeah, it's going to be
You're just going to be
by the
looking down like this, kind of. But yeah, it's laying out pretty good. I'm actually pretty impressed with it. Just not having ever done anything like this before, and this being mine and Owen's first time shooting paint. So I'm pretty happy with the results so far. So hopefully we can figure out whatever the deal is with the moisture and in the line and everything. I did get some desiccant ordered for my little dryer bowl out there, because the beads turned from blue to pink and they're starting to look a little pink right now. So I think what I learned from this is that each day that we paint, we're just gonna drop new desiccant in there. Or I ordered like a 6-pound
keep it on the
bottle
blue
of
side.
it. Yeah, keep it on the blue side. So I might even look at getting a second dryer in line or something. But yeah, I don't know what you think, Owen, but I'm pretty impressed with the results.
Happy with this. That one will be good once we get fresh desiccant.
Yeah, we got some.
And then this one will be good when you put down the tap cloth.
Anyway, just thought I'd turn the camera on for a moment, kind of show what we did today. I did try to get out here and wet the floor down and squeegee it out. And I kept this floor pretty much like you're walking in a puddle the whole time when we're painting out here. But you do see all the paint floating on the water on the floor after you've sprayed a little bit. So Owen's in the paint booth getting stuff cleaned up. He's got the outside of the doors scuffed up. Kept having issues with that front fender, so he's got that scuffed up. And he started working on the outside of the car here, so he got all the old doors off, and he started getting paint off where that crease is in the quarter panel right there. So I'm working on that a little bit more. Gonna pull the welder over here. We got some little steel tabs to weld to it, and then a slide hammer. So I'm gonna start working on trying to work this dent out the best that I can, and we'll see how that goes. So back working on Owen's car. He laid some more primer on the outside of his doors and got some dirt in there, and it wasn't laying down quite right, so he pulled the plug on it for the time being. Went and did something else for a little bit, and I worked on getting all of this paint sanded off of here. There's actually a valley that runs right through here and right through here, but Owen bought these little tabs. But I'm gonna work on, I got a slide hammer there, and I'm just gonna use the chain, run a bolt through it, and bolt into these tabs here and work on pulling this out. I welded a bunch of tabs on where there was little bits of valleys there, so hopefully we can get a bolt through there, get that slide hammer on there, and I'm just gonna start working my way around each of these and trying to get that dent out as much as possible. So wish me luck. It's been a while since I've shown anything, so Owen and I came out here flipped the doors over, and we thought he'd paint the doors when they're off the car, but we keep running into issues with how the primer's laying down. So luckily I've got my phone a friend to my buddy Dave, and he's given us pointers along the way, so thanks a lot, Dave. Been kind of a savior with all this stuff, although we're still trying to make things work. But he has been sanding down these doors, trying to get the primer smooth, and we're not giving up. We're gonna keep plugging through. I know Owen's getting really frustrated, but we'll get it done. We'll get it figured out. Got an absolute mess over here, but I thought I'd just keep it that way. But we bought this dent puller. So it's like a 13-pound slide hammer, and it was basically like, I think I may have shown it before, there was like, this was completely dented in here, and it was kind of like there was 2 streaks that were even more dented in, but I think it's got the middle kind of stretched out, so I don't think I'll ever really get this. Probably could keep working on it and try to get it straight, but Owen bought these little tabs off of Amazon, and that's been working pretty good. So I just weld these on in different spots, and then I just got a chain here with a bolt on it, so I would just bolt that on to these tabs here and use the slide hammer and try to put them strategically in spots to try to get these dents out. So you can see where I've sanded a bunch of welds down here. I did get some pinholes that I welded shut, but I've tried to weld on in different spots. Up here, there's a little bit of a valley through here, and there was through here, but I think I got it pretty good. Looks like I need to sand that down a little more again. But like I said, I think this is stretched, and it's pretty shallow now. It's hopefully not much more than 1/4 of an inch there, but hopefully we can just use some body filler and get that covered up and try to recreate this body line that comes down through here. But we're just going to try to get it as good as we can. And Owen was actually pretty impressed, because this piece right here, he said you couldn't even fit your finger in here before it was folded over so much. And it's still not great like it is on the pasture side, but it's okay. It's probably something he can live with, I think, and he thinks so too. But I think that'll be the next step, is getting some body filler on here and getting that kind of sanded smooth, and then we can slap some primer and paint on there. And then once the doors are done, we can get those on the car, get this done. We figured we'd probably just paint this so that we can get to the whole jam here and try to blend into the quarter panel and not have to go very far. We did find another dent right up here, but he thinks that's something he could live with there. So we're just going to try to concentrate on the body work and try to keep it in this vicinity and get this car done. Get it looking good again. Close to as new as possible, as a couple of these couple of amateurs can get it looking. All right, this has turned into a multi-week ordeal. I just wanted to give a little update. So I did start putting some body filler in here and sanding it down. There's still kind of a divot through here and here, but I think I'm getting it pretty well smoothed out. The mark on there is just a Sharpie line, trying to keep this body line that's in the cars. But kind of what really keeps holding us up is just kind of a learning process. So Owen tried to put down some primer on here. Yeah, we were getting a lot of solvent pop on here yesterday, and now I'm not seeing it. Oh yeah, there's some. They're just harder to see from certain angles. Yeah, you can see some pops right there. But I'll come in here with a sanding block and work on these doors. You can really see it right along the edge of this door. I think he just got too much material and kind of blew it away. All right, well, we'll do some sanding on here and see what we can find and go from there. That's all pretty flat. I'm gonna go around and hit it with some self-etching primer for where these bare metal spots are. We did finally get these doors all sanded down with 220 and 400 grit. I did hit it with some self-etching primer in spots where there was some bare steel showing, like along the edges of these doors. So I'm gonna let that dry and probably hit it with Scotch-Brite pad or something just to make sure the edges are smooth. And then probably gonna start laying down some primer and hopefully some white paint. I did check over this fender and it's looking pretty good, but I'm gonna get these kind of stuffed down just one more time, make sure they're all nice and smooth, and then throw some rubber gloves on and clean them with some spray white glass cleaner. And we're gonna get the paint guns ready to go. I wasn't sure about the old Harbor Freight paint gun. I know it was recommended to me that it's a good gun to paint with, but we were having so many issues with it, we decided just to switch gears. Hopefully it wasn't because we added like this inline filter and pressure regulator and all that sort of stuff. Hoping that's not what caused the issues, but I've really gotten a kick out of Paint Society. So it's a YouTube channel I've been watching and trying to get a lot of pointers from them. But he did a review. He had a couple of Amazon guns that he recommended. I probably should have went with the one that he recommended about a year ago, but this one, I think he had done a video on it 5 years ago. It's like a Astro HVLP high efficiency Euro Pro paint gun, and it was like 91 bucks or 96 bucks on Amazon. So Owen and I thought we'd try that, and we did end up ordering a second one with a 1.5 tip so that we can use that one just for primer, and then this one's got a 1.3 tip and we're going to use that just for the base coat and clear coat. That's our intention, so hopefully things will go smoother now. It's nice and warm here. I think it's been in the 80s here. It's the middle of September and it's been unseasonably warm. I think the humidity, if my thermometer in the house is right, I think the humidity has gone away, so we're gonna try to take advantage of that. It's still warm, less humid, and hopefully things will go smoothly here. So I'm gonna get back to this, get some self-etching primer put on that guy after I clean it one more time, and go from there. Just a quick little blurb here. So I just held some cardboard up over the tire and just shot some self-etching primer on there because there was some spots of bare steel right there. And I did the same with the doors. There was some bare steel along this edge here, bare steel along this edge, and just right on the corner, and then up along this body line here. So we're pretty much at the point where I'll probably scuff that real quick, take some of that roughness away. There's some overspray too, so yeah, we'll get them cleaned up again, get the guns set up, and then we'll be ready to spray. All right, I'm not touching the doors. Owen was just in here wiping them down with some spray white glass cleaner. We're getting ready to spray primer again. Telling you guys, I'm kind of nervous about this because the run of luck we've had with this so far. Not Owen's, lack of luck. So I'm having a little more faith because I did the the self-etching primer, and that went on there okay. But yeah, we're gonna try to stay confident, cautiously confident, and get some primer on these doors. Then we'll get some paint, white paint on everything, and clear all this stuff. But I think we're getting ready to go. So Owen had me spray primer. I think it laid down pretty good. I'm not gonna even begin to brag at all and ruin the mojo here, but I'm thinking they're looking pretty good. We did one coat of primer. Still kind of, well, the shakes have kind of gone away because just not wanting to screw this up, but doors are flashing off pretty good. I think Owen's gonna start mixing up the base coat. Right, Owen?
Yeah.
And then I made a mistake. I'm a big old dummy. I didn't wear safety glasses, and Owen learned from me luckily and threw some on. And I was using the aerosol paint gun aerosol cleaner, and it squirted right back in my freaking eyeball. So I probably got a red eye. So I learned a lesson the hard way again tonight. I'm usually pretty good, as you guys have probably seen, about wearing safety glasses, but I wasn't this time, so that's what I get. So hopefully that's the worst thing that happens tonight. So wish us luck. We're gonna start laying down some white here in a minute. We're gonna do one coat on the doors, and then we're gonna uncover the fender, and then do a second coat and see how it looks. All right, so we're in here, we're gonna mix up clear. We're hoping we have enough to get the clear done. We have just a little bit of clear left, but we figured 2 coats of that. Paint's turning out pretty decent. I noticed, like, between coats, I had a couple of bugs land on this door, so that kind of irked me a little bit, but I think it's coming out pretty decent. We're gonna try to get some clear down. Maybe 2 coats of clear, and then we're gonna call it a night. All right, we ran out of clear last night when we wanted to do the second and final coat of clear. We do have some, I don't know, like some solvent pop and hairs and stuff that got in there, but not going to be a show car, meant to be a daily driver. We just want it looking good, so we're trying to keep that mentality in mind. Plus it's our first paint job that we've ever done, so we're kind of cutting ourselves a little bit of leniency in that regard, and we'll see how it looks when it's all done out in the sun. Maybe it'll look like garbage and we'll end up redoing it, but the main thing is like, at least the stuff that we'd want to redo is outside flat surfaces of the car, and we could maybe do that when the car is all back together. Maybe do it in the spring and clean it up and make it look better, or maybe it's just a matter of some cutting and buffing and just letting it rip. So I'm gonna shut this off. We got some clear mixed up in there. I'm gonna go shoot the last coat of clear, and Owen's gonna work out here on masking his car off. All right, we're ready to move the car over to the other side. First time that thing's run in a while. Watch out, Bernie. But all I did here was go around and tie up just the one end of my plastic. Got it all draping here yet. I'd show you up close, well, just to show you guys. Maybe it doesn't show up very good on camera, but there's a lot of bumps and divots, and I think we could have done a lot better job. But again, not intending for it to be a show car. I know there's like one spot where it like completely, I don't know, didn't really get paint on it very good or clear, but maybe we can touch it up with a dab of clear coat or something. But we might have some tricks up our sleeve for trying to fill in some of these. Like you can see a monster one right there, but we're gonna get the car in. It's in the door at least, but we were dealing with some rain out here before, so it's a little wet, so we're gonna take advantage of it not raining. No one's making a lot of noise, but we're gonna attack that. But we're gonna get doors moved out of the way, but I'll work on getting those back in the door, getting the plastic dropped, and we're gonna have a painted car here in the next day. All right, we got the car in the paint booth now. Owen's working on unmasking or getting stuff set up so we can paint door hinges here. And then we're gonna unmask this quarter panel. And then I think we're gonna spray some paint. So we got the car in the booth here. I'm doing my final paint. We got a little eyelet that goes in the bumper. And I'm just concentrating on this area on the quarter panel. So, right or wrong, this is how these beginners are doing it. All right, Owen's out here working. You can see our paint's not perfect. There's some trash in it, but now after looking at it a day later, I feel a little better about it. I think there's some trash and some solvent pop in there, but stand back here, it looks all right. Well, we'll make it better. We'll work on improving it a little bit. But Owen's got everything all unmasked, and he's gonna start working on getting these doors on later today when he gets back. He's got class today, and him and some buddies are gonna try to get this car together and go to a cruise event tomorrow. Looking good, Owen. All right, we got base on the car, so I tried to keep the base kind of in this area that Owen's kind of working on right now. It actually feels pretty good in the middle, I think, and we're just hitting it ever so lightly with some 600 just to take some rough edges off, and you can tell like there was some overspray on the fender there, but it's just dust. So we're going to work on getting this cleaned up, and then we're going to shoot some clear on it and let it rip. All right, so Owen's out here working on disassembling his old doors. Owen's starting to get them all back together, getting all the trim put back on them, all the seals around the doors. So it's going back together. Now I'm going to start working on cleaning up my mess over here. So you can see everything's been painted, even touched on the hinges there, and got this whole quarter done. So it's looking pretty good. Car's coming together. All right, Owen's got a couple buddies over here tonight, getting the doors on the car, looking really good. So we're kind of looking at this, and we're almost wondering if this fender got pushed in a little bit because it's not lining up perfectly with the doors. So, but oh well, maybe after something you're gonna have to live with, or we'll replace the quarter at some point. But it's all one color. I thought I'd show this too. So this is all that's drooping down of the paint booth yet. So I just used some light rope string stuff and just kind of tied it like shoelaces all the way around, and it's up out of the way. So we'll let Owen get his car together and his buddies here, and this will be my weekend out here is cleaning up all this. All right, thought I'd show the progress here. So got both doors on. It's looking pretty decent.
So, parking brake. Oh.
All right, guys, I know the sun's not shining on the right side of the car right now, but Owen's been driving the car now since yesterday. Looks like he's got a little dirt on there from driving, so, but it's looking pretty good. Pretty happy with the turnout. I think he's got some work to do on alignment on the fender and the doors and everything, but I wish it was on the side facing the sun, but it looks pretty good. Feels pretty good. Some blemishes that we need to work out, but all in all, we're gonna call that a win. First paint job. Well, pretty good chunk of a car for a paint job anyway. We pretty much redid this whole side.